sometimes I just forget that I have ADHD and that it actually affects like my being. Like, I forget that there's a such thing as like burning out consistently. Like, literally, I just feel like I'm burned out every day. Every single day of the week, I just feel like I'm burned out. I feel like I just don't have enough energy to be a human, you know? And I am having one of those moments. It's been like that for a while, and I have to remind myself that, girl, your brain is built different, okay? Like, your mind, she don't always like to cooperate. She don't always like to cooperate, and it's not her fault though. It's not her fault. She barely has any dopamine to freaking do day-to-day tasks, things that just keep you alive and well and healthy, physically, mentally, all that stuff. And then on top of it, like, I work with kids of all things in the afternoon of all times. Like, for one, that's like my nap time. So I'm already tired and just more susceptible to being irritated and all that. I throw into the mix the fact that I work with kids. Like, I try to remember to give myself grace, but sometimes it's just hard, especially when your mind decides that the thing it wants to hyperfixate on is the fact that you feel like you're failing because you are not up to par with people whose minds are normal, whatever that even is. But I don't know, I've just been feeling so down and hard on myself. I've been feeling like a lack of motivation, not wanting to do anything, everything seeming hopeless and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, I believe in Jesus. Like, I believe that a lot of things are spiritual, but I also have to remember that my mind is just a little wacky. It's a little, she built a little different. She's a little wacky, and I have to work with it, right? I don't know. It's just very interesting how the ADHD mind works, especially, oh my gosh, especially like in women, okay? I have been tracking my period for like some years now. And I've been tracking just like my different cycles and stuff like that and how I'm able to show up. And let me tell you, I now have it down to a science. 2 weeks before my period, it's the absolute worst. Like, depression is real, low energy and just mood swings and all that is real. And it's just extra hard for me to do anything. It's just like the most difficult time ever, and I just have to give myself grace. But I can't. Like, I don't know. It's just really hard to be graceful to myself because that's usually not at the forefront of my mind. And I'm not gonna hold you, it just takes a lot of effort. It takes more effort than usual. There are times where just some things I experience is like praying and like reading my Bible and journaling and all that stuff, things that I do that help keep me sane. During that time, I'm like not able to, and for a few days I'm just like, everything mentally is it's my shadow. Everything mentally is just, it's a catastrophe. It's a fire. Nobody's putting the fire out because nobody knows where the fire is. That's what it's like in my mind. And it takes me some days to realize, hold on, wait, girl, we know this. We know what we're going through right now. And I don't even want to call it PMS for sure. Like, I've heard people talk about PMDD, and I feel like it's that. I don't know. I haven't been like diagnosed by a doctor or anything like that, but based on the experiences of the women whose videos I watch on TikTok, and I start to put them in the mix with mine, I'm like, something's off, severely off in my mind. And I mean, if it's not that, then I'm just going crazy, like off the rocker crazy, psychotic, manic for like 2 whole weeks before my period starts, and I'm back to normal. But during those weeks, I kid you not, it's like, and I honestly, when I start to feel certain symptoms, like, I'll warn my family, like, listen, y'all, if you see me crying in a corner for no reason, like, just you know, go easy on me, because I am going through hormonal changes and my mind and I are not on the same page at the moment. And it just, sometimes it's so scary because it's really hard it almost feels like it's impossible to like snap myself out of it. You know whose videos I don't see anymore, and I don't remember her thing, but there's this girl who's on TikTok. I believe she has a podcast, and she talks about like PMSing and things that we go through when we PMS and being a Christian. And I'm like, girl, where are you at? Like, I need you so bad right now. I need to know the podcast, because I literally be thinking I'm going through some really intense warfare. Like, the devil is literally after me. And don't get me wrong, spiritual warfare is real, and I feel like when we're vulnerable, when we have times where our physical can affect our spiritual, it's hard to acknowledge, you know, what, like, how to snap out of that. But I need to find that girl. I need to watch her podcast, because sis, girl, we need to talk, or you need to talk, I need to listen. Something needs to go on, because literally, like, every luteal phase, and it's like I instantly feel the changes in my body when it kicks in, and I'm just like, here we go. I'm about to start feeling extra sad, extra depressed, and extra hopeless for no reason at all, and I'm over it. Which leads me back to just like the ADHD thing. I didn't get diagnosed until I was, how old was I? 27, 28. And it was all because of TikTok. I love TikTok so much. It was because of TikTok. I randomly did one of those videos late one night, and it was like a put a finger down video, but I won't tell you what it is till the ending. And she's going through the list of these things, and I'm just putting my fingers down, and she's like, how's your undiagnosed ADHD? And I'm like, girl, you not clocking no T over here, because I don't have no ADHD. Anywho, and then after that, since I like interacted with that video, TikTok started shooting me out videos of women with ADHD. And I just realized that my everyday life looked way too familiar to these women's. Like, I'm like, why do I relate so much to y'all? Did so much research. I almost felt like a professional. But after that, I just decided, let me go see a doctor, because I can be a hypochondriac sometimes and just start believing I have things that I don't have. So it's like, in order for me to feel at ease, let me talk to a professional. Let me see what a professional has to say, and we'll take it from there. And lo and behold, inattentive ADHD, hi. Yeah, we're dealing with that. Yeah, I was diagnosed when I was, how old was I? 27, 28. And I feel like because I was like late diagnosed, I feel like it's so hard for me. Well, not even hard for me. I don't want to say hard for me. I just guess I've been functioning for so long, like the way that I have, the different ways that I cope and stuff like that, that I forget that I have it. And so I'm so extra hard on myself until I come across a video or something where somebody is explaining different symptoms of ADHD, and I'm like, oh yeah, I do have that. I do go through that. I should give myself grace. I do have like barely any dopamine to function. Maybe I should set up a reward system, or whatever the case may be for myself. But I have to humble myself and just go back to the fact that I function so much differently, and that I can't be too hard on myself for not getting things done in a way that looks like it should be done, or in a way that a neurotypical person gets things done, because it just stresses me out, and then I'm stressed out, and then I'm overwhelmed, and then I can't function, and the cycle continues. It's just an interesting experience, and I'm still to this day just like learning how to be an adult with ADHD, and it's just very trying, and it's very hard, and it's very, sometimes it just feels like a nuisance on my life, and I'm just like, oh God, why me? Why me? Why did you drop the extra spice in my DNA when you created me? You know, that type of stuff. But I don't know, I'm just still learning. Like, though, my number one challenge is when the ADHD affects my PMS symptoms. That, oh my gosh, that just makes me feel like I literally just feel crazy for 2 weeks. I feel crazy for 2 weeks. Some of the things that I've experienced is, like I said, just depression, which ADHD in general can look like depression with a lack of motivation, losing interest in doing certain, just different symptoms like that. It can look like depression. But baby, when I tell you, when it's 2 weeks before my period, baby, that's full-fledged, full-blown depression. I'm talking about just the lowest that I could ever feel is how I feel then, and I just feel stuck. Like, what do I do? How do I come out of this? I'm just learning how to handle those feelings in a way that honors God, of course, because that's my savior. He's got my back on everything. So it's always gonna go back to like, God, how were your prophets handling this kind of stuff when they were going through it? This is what happens when you don't play in makeup for a while. You lose your touch, and then what? And you gotta teach yourself all over again how to do what you used to slay. When you used to slay. I mean, it still eats down. Just one eats more than the other. We're gonna pretend like we're gonna keep moving. It is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't at this point. Now, eyeliner. I cannot talk during eyeliner. Here's the finished product of my doom and gloom, ADHD, low dopamine, messing with me look. I hope you like it. Thank you guys for sitting and listening to me rant about my low dopamine problems.